So in the beginning, when I started this channel, I used to get a lot of comments, and the comments were saying things like, I don't want to bring a car to the Algarve. Are these towns walkable? And I was like, what? How can you exist down here without a car? I understand if you're coming from New York or you're coming from London and cars are not a big thing. They're actually a hindrance like they are in Lisbon because, you have to find parking and everything. But in the Algarve, it's a full-on countrified situation. However, we do have a public transport system. So my idea was to go and grab my buddy João and go out and check the public transport system and see if it works as well as advertised. And here's what we found. Gotta make it all nice and romantic, eh? Okay, so now in the Algarve, let's focus on the trains first. So there's a train line that goes all the way across and then up to Lisbon. Well, when I say all the way across, I mean it's not quite all the way across. So it's from Lagos in the west all the way to Vila Real Santo Antonio in the east. And you can see Tunis there. That's where it comes in from Lisbon. And going down to Faro, you'll have to stop and take another train because the line essentially goes from Lagos to Faro and then from Faro to Vila Real Santo Antonio. So what we did is we hopped down into a beautiful little village called Fuzeta. And we wanted to do a route, just quick route. It's only like 15-minute ride on the train from Fuzeta all the way to Tavira. So it's not far, and we thought, it would just be a quick thing, just in case there might be some problems. So what happened was we waited around, and we had a bit of a coffee first of all, and we spoke and we chatted and stuff. We took a little bit of footage of this beautiful little place called Bordo d'Água, where I had a little bit of breakfast. And it's a great spot right on the Rio Formosa. So I urge you to get down there and enjoy it. In summer it gets busy and there's lots of people because it's a beautiful beach, but stunning spot. And so then we ambled over to the train station and checked out the time. So we knew that there was a train coming at 10:17. So we got there at about 10 o'clock just to make sure. And we waited and waited. 10:17 came and went. And there was this old lady there. So we spoke to her and said, hey, when's the train coming? She's like, I don't know. Maybe 11 o'clock. So we waited, 11 o'clock came and went, nothing. And she's like, yeah, maybe it's 11:30, nothing. And it was actually the next train. So that train had just completely just been obliterated from the timetable and nobody really worried about it. There was no notifications, nothing, apart from this lady who we asked. Train came, we all jumped on it. It was actually quite full, surprisingly enough. And as you can see inside, it's got lots of seats and everything, so it's not that spacious, but it'll get you from A to B. I just think spinning a hole down the train might be a bit tricky. But if you time it right, I think it's quite crucial, because there are lots more trains going in rush hour, obviously it makes sense, doesn't it? Taking people to work and back. So in the mornings and in the evenings, there are many more trains. During the day, not so many. And then we got to Tavira. So while I'm trying to chase down that train with my drone, look, it's getting away. Let's go into 7 tips for using the trains in the Algarve. All right, so here's 7 quick facts about the train system in the Algarve. Now, there are 140 kilometers of local train lines across the Algarve with many, many stations. Now, just beware that some of these stations are not near the towns that they're named after. I'm looking at you, Lole, and also Albufeira is pretty bad, and also, what else? Silves. Yeah, so plan extra transport to the town centre, or take a backpack and some really good shoes. Now, the second point, takes about 3 hours to get all the way across the Algarve and costs about just 10 euros. Some basic prices. Sorry, that's from Lagos to Vila Real Santo Antonio, all the way across. And if you want to go from Faro to Lagos, it costs you about €7.50, and it'll take you anywhere between 1 hour, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 45 minutes. The third tip is book your train ticket online through www.cp.pt. It's actually a really good site. It's got an English version as well, if you're worried about that. They also have an app, and obviously the timetables are on the site as well. I mean, it just goes without saying, doesn't it? Except when you come to buses. Number 4 if you need to pay on the train, it's cash only, and you can pay the conductor unless a ticket office is open at the station, and it's much easier to do that before you get on the train. You can also buy it online, obviously from cp.pt. Number 5, you can take your pets with you only if they do not bother other passengers. On regional trains, like the Algarve line, for example, you'll need to buy a half-price ticket for your pet, which are only available from the ticket offices. Apparently, you can't get those from the conductor. Well, we used to call it a conductor, or a ticket inspector, as they call it here. Number 6, bikes and scooters, like bicycles and scooters, are free of charge, and so they should be, shouldn't they? I mean, however, space is limited, so be prepared to have to okay it with the ticket inspector. Number 7, watch out for Sundays and public holidays when trains run on a severely limited timetable. And, trains are pretty easy to do. I find it easy as pie because you know exactly where to go and what to do. When it gets tricky, it's when you get to the buses.
The thing is, the windows are this dirty because people tend to do graffiti on them. So this is the cleaning process. And
So would people do graffiti on the windows with spray paint?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the windows, not on the windows, the trains. Because in graffiti culture, trains are cool.
Ah, right. So you can tag a train.
Yeah.
I don't need this anymore because you need them on all public transport. So no, you don't need it. I could really get used to this. Having a video guy like you, Bruno, is awesome. So we're in Tavira, we need to get back to Fuzeta, and I'm not holding out much hope for the bus because having waited 1.5 hours for the train, I'm thinking, well, how are we going to get back in the bus? Now, because it was the middle of the day, there were only about 2 more buses left until 6 o'clock. So we couldn't get a bus, just didn't have time. I had a meeting to get back to, and it's just like, people will see places to be. So we jumped in an Uber. Went back. And if you want to sum up this day, I think it's a total fail. Algarve public transport didn't happen. However, I think you've got to understand how to use the public transport in the Algarve. It's not always going to be delayed, not always going to be late like this. And I think if you're going to go to work regularly, or if you're using it to commute, I think it'll be fine. Let me know what your experiences have been. I'd love to hear them. Jump down into the comments. Let's share. AlgarveAddicts.com